clear. Coming through Geocache Talk, a voice on the line I hear. Coming through Geocache Talk.
Embark on a breathtaking 12-night journey through Scandinavia with the Worldwide Cache Cruise, starting from the enchanting city of Amsterdam. With the Worldwide Cache Cruise, we are not just taking a vacation. We are geocaching and collecting experiences that will last a lifetime.
A stunning symbol of adventure, community, and storytelling. Its bold design shines with vibrant colors and a cool retro look. It's more than just a coin. It's a badge of geocaching passion. You can be part of the journey by supporting Geocache Talk on Patreon. Your patronage helps create inspiring shows, grow the community, and keep the adventure going. Join the network at patreon.com/geocachetalk.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
Big thanks to our new patrons, Reese 486, Hada 25, Waymaker Jan, Rob S72, Lost and Found 28, returning patron, the Geocaching Ninja, Wee Dog 1, and Angel Bandit. And our featured patrons tonight are Todd, Isaac, those are in Arizona, Scott, Hugh, Jeffrey, they're in British Columbia. Or if they speak the British language. Just kidding. And Owen. He's in England, so maybe he can help them with his British accent there. So, all right. Let's get cranking. There's the 3-man booth. Jesse, the Memphis Mafia person.
Ooh, person.
The head of Memphis Mafia, and
no, not even close.
Not even close.
Don't make him sleep with the fishies, Gary.
Yeah, that's right.
What you say there?
And then we have.
I am not the head of the organization. I am the John, the chaos behind the organization. Maybe.
We got John the Pizza Ninja and one portion of Memphis Mafia. All right. Let's get this puppy cranked up. Let's do this. Gonna do some little geocaching news, and I think we're going to start with pause as I get to the top of the screen. John.
Oh man, Gary, you want some news? I got some news for you, pal.
Oh, good. I got something after that, and then you have something after that, and you have something after that. Okay, so go ahead. Give me some news, buddy.
Absolutely. I don't know about you guys, but International Geocaching Day. Did you guys know this is coming up on this one?
I did.
I've heard a little bit about it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's in August. And if you guys are like me, it's like, how is it almost mid-July and August is in the on deck circle? It just seems crazy, but it's cool. Cause I mean, for this year, we're celebrating 25 years of geocaching, and there's actually two new souvenirs, Okay. Let me make sure that's in the frame. So, for this year, we got a finder souvenir and a hider souvenir.
Yeah. That's the better one.
Well, I mean, I think both of these are cool, right? So, I mean, to earn the souvenir for the finder, you just have to find and log one geocache, attend an event, or complete an adventure lab location between August 15th and 17th.
Gotcha.
So, one of those things as you're working on your caching schedule, make sure you factor this in. But the hider one, Jesse, that you like, and I think a lot of people are liking on this one because it's pretty cool, is you got to have a non-event geocache published between July 15th and August 25th. So,
That's
this is
time.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, I mean, sitting July 13th right now, and audio listeners, you listen to this later, if you don't have a hide already in your hopper to get out during this time, you want to make sure that you get that ready to go as soon as possible, because, onto this one. So any non-event geocache type, and it's a bummer on this one because Adventure Labs don't count on this one. I know we all love Adventure Labs on this one, especially at rest stops like Gary and myself, but onto here, we got to make sure we submit these hides, because usually, and I don't know, some reviewers are awesome. Some reviewers are still awesome, but it just takes time to clear everything that they got. We know they're people too, and they're volunteering.
Correct.
So, the recommendation is to actually submit the publication at least a week before that deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want any more information, go into the help center on that one. But definitely, get those ready to go on that side. But I just wanted to share that news with folks.
Perfect.
So you're saying I should not have had that cache published like 3 days ago. I should have waited until next week.
Jesse, you are a cache publishing machine, my friend. So I'm sure you got another one ready to go.
That's awesome.
So close.
That close. A couple things. I know each of us will sort of mention what we did this week geocaching wise. I'll go ahead and mention mine right now because I got two things connected to it. So one is a Etsy store that we have our coins at. Jasper coins available. Go check them out. Cache
not
Masters.
Loop 4.
No, Loop 4s are gone.
Wow.
We're
now, John,
I don't know.
Who was it? Was it me and you, or was it Gary that said those would never sell? Which
You
one
know,
sold out, Gary? Which
I don't think that was you and I, Jesse.
So here we are, Geocache Talk, and like the old days, it's just me here, keeping down the fort, and very excited about the Geocache Talk network. We're going to add a bunch of shows. It's going to be great, and looking forward to. Oh, maybe I should bring your own.
Hey,
see, if it was the old days, you would have your whiteboard in the back.
I
if anybody wants to go back and look at his original whiteboard that he had behind him.
Go back to the whiteboard.
Give him the whiteboard days.
Oh man, that's a throwback.
Okay, hang on a second. Let's really fix this. Okay, let's really do this right.
Okay.
Let's get a good shot of this.
Yeah, this ought to be good.
Gary is going to fix something he said before.
I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay. I admit you guys were right. I'm admitting it publicly that you guys were correct. The Loop 4s sold like hotcakes, and I was shocked. So now my question to you two gentlemen is, if we were to buy another round, would those sell, or are we tapped out?
I say we wait and let really people build up the momentum, and where people suffer for it so they can't get it. I mean, I know next summer there's going to be a new group interested in it.
Yeah,
but
true.
But we said we weren't going to do any more for a while, so I think we hold off a little bit.
Yeah,
like Richie tries says, "Man, I wish my wife would admit to when she's wrong." Well, I could send you the link, buddy. You could use that. But the problem is you're gonna put your own name on there because I'm sure both of y'all.
Yeah, I don't think that's wise. I don't really.
yeah, Gary. I don't think we need to go there, my friend.
You're a braver man than me.
Houston, Texas, Dave, bring back the whiteboard. That's pretty funny. I like my backdrop. The old days. it was great, Gary. Thank you. So anyway, we'll do that. So anyway, but the Loop 1, 2, and 3 are there. Cache Masters is out there, and we have got a new coin that will be available, and we'll let you know what that is when the time comes. So there you go. Nice. Back to you, John. I just went through my part of the news.
Oh man, hey Gary.
Wait! You mentioned your caching for the week. You said
I'm sorry, I missed that. So we did have the Etsy store on vacation because I was gone for a few days. I did what I'm calling it now a Jasmine run because I now have multiple Jasmer runs that I need to go on. Ugh. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't realize how many months that now obviously I've finished one loop. So I've got a full loop. Problem is I have got so many holes in my Jasmer to try to get to quad or triple or even double. I mean, obviously we're all close. I mean, I was semi close on double, but I'm trying to get to all four. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I spent many days traveling. I love Texas, and I love traveling, especially the west part. But it can get a lot of windshield time.
Yeah.
Gets to be a little bit rough. So all right. So that was mine. So John, what's your next item, my friend?
Oh man, yeah, I'll talk about my caching because it's pretty cool, guys. It's we actually reached our 3,000th milestone. Now that was awesome, right? And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it's like you're going to look for a cache to kind of like celebrate and figure out like what cache is there. And for some folks, I mean, they may choose it based upon like type on there. We decided to do one that was kind of like very meaningful and very like cool related. So I'm gonna bring up the GC on this one for folks, but hang
on, while you're doing that, let me play this. Everybody hold your ears. Okay.
Oh man.
I like that milestone sound. We're gonna come with a new one.
I feel deeply moved with that air horn recognition. I just want to say that I really do appreciate that, my friend. That's something that not everybody gets on that one for sure. Yeah, and welcome to the Pizza Talk podcast. We have pickles in the forecast for tonight, but yeah, I'm going to share the GC code with you guys on this one for our 3,000th find, because I just want to talk about this a little bit on this one and why we selected this one. But I just put it in here, and it's GCB 97AA, and it's a new cache that was actually just published recently. And onto this one, the thing that we felt this was really special for us was the cache owner actually hid this cache, and it's in the cache description, to teach his young boys about what geocaching is. And he wanted to have them to have a cache to help maintain.
Very cool.
So we thought, like, how awesome is this? Like, somebody looking to, teach people, younger people, about geocaching and how it works. So we're like, okay, this is awesome. We're all about this. So, this is going to be our 3,000th find on here. And yeah, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to see some of the awesome pictures that we put on that page.
I did. You want to share one?
Oh, if people want to go, if you want to do a screen share or anybody, I mean, people can check that out, if they want to see some of those awesome pictures. Or actually, let me see, guys, if I can do a screen share.
Yeah, you can.
If I got this ready, because I mean, I'd love to see people on here to show it.
Put TFTC for your log?
Not this time.
Okay.
Scouter 74 says, love the pictures you posted.
Yeah, but on here, we talked about how meaningful it was to us, and
yeah,
we had on here our 3,000th find picture, and then the double beards for the win. So right here's our 3,000 picture right here. So
would you like to describe that for our audio listeners?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So for our audio listeners, it is myself, Jody. I'm holding a sign that says 3,000 geocaching finds. The geocache is in here, and as well as Flat Jesse, on here.
I should be able to log that cache.
We signed to Team Pizza. We know you're part of Team Pizza, Jesse.
Oh, so. Obviously.
Yeah.
I see no issues with you logging this, Jesse.
That's right. I mean, I've got a picture that shows I was there.
Yeah, and on here too, we wanted to make sure we showed double beards, for the win on this one as well.
Nice.
So, I mean, what couple of cool pictures to celebrate for this one?
No, that's fun. It's always fun to, and I always tell people too, like, and I know we say it on the show a lot, cache as fast as you want, but don't skip over milestones. They're ones that you want to remember, right? Like make them a bigger thing. I know some power cachers out there are flying through the thousands. That's fine. But for most normal cachers, you only hit 1,000 every once in a while. Really make it a big deal. Make it memorable. Enjoy. It doesn't have to be like, rappelling off the side of a building. It can just be a cool cache that you enjoy and you take the time to recognize like y'all did. I think that's very smart.
Yeah, and big shout out to Jody, because I know we were looking at them, and Jody was the one we were looking through, and she goes, "Oh man, this is the one. This is the one we should do for 3,000." And yeah, right now.
Can you mention has she secured that GC name she was kind of hoping to sort of get?
Oh, you mean the second most awesome geocaching name ever? Yes.
She has it. So we can mention it.
The Pizza Pie Samurai on there.
That's perfect.
And that's
good.
Yeah, and guys, if you go to the Mingo plaque, it's on there,
Yeah.
Pizza Pie Samurai.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Samurai.
Yeah.
Love it. Good for her. That's why I knew she was trying to get that one. We talked about one day when we were in Gigastock, and so I was like, that's cool, Jody, you should do that. And I wasn't sure if she was able to secure that. So I didn't want to mention it because you know how trolls are. They're going to go out there and steal it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I didn't want to mention it.
But she's got it now. She can have it forever.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. What an awesome name, man.
Yep.
Love it.
And you had a couple other things you wanted to mention.
Oh, yeah. So a very cool one, guys. And I shared it on our social media on here. So people aren't, following us on social media, just look Geocache Talk. But this was a really cool one, right? I found New York State's oldest multi-cache.
Woohoo! Oldest multi.
First finder in a year, right? Over a year.
Oh, wow. Really?
And when
For
I
the
go
oldest?
there, yeah, the oldest.
multi-cache?
Only I think like 3 people found it in 2024.
Mm.
But the cool factor is when
That's
I
wild.
go there and I open up the ammo can, original logbook from
No way.
from back in the day. And
That's great.
when people used to write like all these incredible stories, and I shared these on social media because like, man, it was like you have those moments in geocaching where it just like hits you, when you're holding something like that in an old school ammo can in the woods, original logbook, and it's just like, man, this is so incredible,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love when you find those old ones like that and you get this, even if you put out a brand new one right now, maybe if you put it in the mountains, but you're not going to get a story. Most of the time you don't get a story, but it has to be a cache that's only found like a dozen times a year or whatever. But
Right.
I definitely appreciate when you find those and people actually take the time to write a story instead of like just stamping,
Yes.
looking
Oh my god.
blow and go or whatever. I like those a lot. Those are special. Those are few and far between, but they're special.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you had one more? No.
Yeah.
was it.
So actually, this weekend
Of
too,
the
guys.
lonely
And I'll just mention this quickly. Like, we found a couple caches that haven't been found in a year or two.
Mhm.
Like caches, like awesome shape, like great locations. One of them was down by Warren, PA, where actually 2 of them were down by Warren, PA, where geocaching like Woodstock was like years and years ago. But yeah, a really cool one called Tater's Tomb, and about King Tater. And if you go to log, you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. I don't want to spill the beans.
Yeah. No
But it
problem.
hadn't been found in a couple years. Another great multi on that one where I don't know about you guys, but like I kind of go through my phases, and now I'm just like, man, I'm almost on this like old multi kick on here, where I want to find like these like older multis that sometimes don't get the love like others do, but they're just great caches.
It's a good idea for what we talked about last week, having a new thing to do.
Yeah.
Cool. Jesse, how about you?
So mine was not quite as successful as John's this week, but we did get to. I got an FTF for the first time in a long time. That was fun.
Nice.
And it was fast enough that before I even left, the next person got there. So it was I ran out the door to get to it, and it was maybe a mile from my house. I got there that fast. And somebody else
pretty
pulled up
close.
So that was pretty quick. And then unfortunately I published a cache this week.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
still
should have
good.
waited. If I was thinking, I'd have waited another week and I'd have had my souvenir.
Still a good thing. Still a good thing.
Yeah. And then let's see. That was traditional cache, and I liked it because it was one of three that somebody had hidden, and they hid Pokemon stuff in it. So they were a younger cacher or a younger person. By younger, I mean to the game, right? Like I don't know what age they were, but put some pretty neat swag in there for first to find, and was like, if you don't really like this other game, just leave those in there for somebody that really likes it. So I did. I don't play Pokemon or whatever. So hopefully they'll respect that if they're not into it, not just take all the stuff out of it or whatever. But
sure,
it was a good one. Let's see. And then we got a bunch of labs this week. We did some older. We're using the filter on the labs now for like the historic button they have on their filters. We're using that to go find their like downtown areas. So we went and parked and did a bunch of those. And then all of a sudden we came across the great brewery, and then our caching was over for the day. So we didn't get any more that day.
Nice.
But we had a blast.
It happens.
And then I actually went out treasure hunting this week. So I filtered just for the treasures.
Oh,
what I needed for the treasures. Got one of them, and I got another one. Then I went on a DNF streak because I had to go to find ones that fit it in the area that I was in. I had to go for ones that hadn't been found in a while, so it was a risk. Yeah. But there was the only ones in the area that fit the certain thing I needed, and I drove all over to get to these things. Only one of them was there. That's okay. Now, one of them I didn't go to because we ran out of time, but two of them in a row I DNF'd. So dang. I got two of my treasures, but I need two more. So that's okay. One hadn't been found in like 2 years, so it had been a while, and it was out in the woods. And I think the last couple of pictures were throwdowns of it, so I've been missing and stuff. So whatever, I can go out again and get it. But so I had a semi-successful week, and then also had a few DNFs that I haven't had in a while too. So right. But all in all, not too bad. Awesome. I got what I needed out of it. I got to go to an event. Speaking of which, the event that I went to, I meant to mention this, was by Team Conway. He's going to be on the cruise. Yep. And it was his 500th event to host. Wow. I thought I hosted a lot of events.
Yeah, you thought you did.
He's got like 10 more already in the queue that haven't happened yet.
Wow. Dang.
Like 500.
500.
That's a lot of events.
Good for them.
I don't know that many people that have hosted more than, that aren't organizations that have hosted more.
Exactly. That's crazy.
That's got to be a record somewhere.
I'll tell you, that is so cool for them to do that. I know. And I got to give a shout out to Phil, Little Black Dog, right? Because Phil is coming through my neck of the woods on, I think it's the 21st, and he's hosting an event in town in the morning, for breakfast, like a coffee thing. And it's like he's never hosted an event on that day. So he's like, I got to host an event on that day, Yeah. So, I mean, big shout out to all the people that put those events together,
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah, it's an underrated part of the game that people don't really, and not megas, right? Because we talk about megas enough, but just regular events. And see those too, but regular events. Yeah. People don't think about that. It takes a lot more to do that than just go find a cache or go hide a cache. A lot of times it takes quite a bit to do that. And we don't thank people enough that host events. I'll say that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So tonight we're talking attributes, and what I want to start with was I'm curious to get you guys' reaction to chat to the AI. So AI created a bunch of them, and then what we're going to do after that is we're going to go through what you guys come up with for possibles. So we'll go through the first list pretty quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the AI ones. I'm going to go through them, and I'll stop periodically and ask you guys your thoughts. Okay. So the first group, and I think it's fascinating to see a lot of times what AI is thinking about these things. At least I find it fascinating. Yeah. So we're going to start with a list that sort of is kind of already out there, but not. So we're going to go through them. So here we go. First one's bring a UV light. That's already out there. We already have an attribute.
Yep.
So I got that.
Yep. There, man.
Drone friendly, I think, was interesting. I don't know if we'd really want an attribute for drone friendly. Would you guys think?
We talked about this before. Potential drone caches.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a drone, specialized equipment, to go up and maybe look down to see something you couldn't normally see.
That's
I
true.
like that when they start coming out. I suspect
Right.
that they will as drones get cheaper and cheaper and cheap. I mean, they have drones now that are tiny, right? Like
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
they're getting a lot cheaper. As they do, I think we're going to have more geocaches that use drones as part of the equipment you need, realistically. I think that is a future one we'll see.
And I'm with you. I think like drones are being used standard now for so many different sciences and field applications.
Yeah, you've been
That
doing a lot.
it's just like a standard tool for certain things.
Yep.
That that I agree. I think like over time, I mean, like that
Yeah.
attribute should pop out and be there because, and we're thinking about flying drones, but I mean, you could even have like underwater drones as well. You know,
Ooh,
there's
yes, that's
so many
right.
different
Underwater
types.
drones.
So let me ask you this, just since you mentioned that, and I know we got a lot to get through.
Yeah,
Just
you're fine.
ethics of it. You know that
Well,
one, the old virtual that Derek went to go do with the group, the True 5.5 virtual in Tennessee. I don't remember the name of it. If it's something dam, it's at a dam, right?
Was
Yeah,
it like that
exactly.
damn
You have
cache?
to go down underwater to read a plaque.
Yeah.
So is that a legit find if you send a water drone down, like a little submarine drone down, and read it?
Wow.
Gotta ask.
That's almost
It's
like a
not
whole new
cheating.
show.
Do you think that's legit?
I gotta say that's grandfathered in, man. Unless you stipulate that you can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying. It doesn't
have
say
to
you
go
have
back.
to scuba dive. It just says how you get down there, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And if so, who's going to meet me out there with a water drone?
Oh man, let's
'Cause
do
I
it.
need one, and I'm not going scuba diving. So
Yeah. Real quick shout out to All Things Earth Cache, who will be on the show next week.
yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Oh, I'm
He
looking
mentioned
forward to
about
that one.
he thought the same thing for Earth caches, so that's a cool idea. Or we'll get into. I think we'll get into Earth caches here in a little bit, right? I think, or we can get into next week.
I'm sure we will. I know for a
Drone-
fact that drones can be used to place earth caches because I've been with my buddy when he used them to recon.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Very
Okay.
cool. Yes. All right. So the next one, AR, augmented reality required.
Yes.
We're
When
good
we
with
get 'em
that
again.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no AR right now, so
No. What could you sort of mix? And I don't know if there's a word you guys probably know. Is there a virtual reality / augmented reality word that covers both? Because now we have virtual, we have
Yeah, so-
VR
yeah.
caches.
You could kind of put that under the umbrella of extended reality, like XR in a way.
That's a good idea.
But you know,
I
the
think that'd be a
question
good-
is,
Yeah.
the question is like you know, in some of these, it's like, do you need something other than your phone? Because your phone's not really considered specialized equipment. You know,
That's true.
so if you do need some specialized equipment, you know, for AR, would you need, you know, AR required? Because I think like right now, kind of like what we did with VR, with the web VR, that's why it works, and probably web AR is probably the best way to go rather than getting like a specific app that then could, you know, no longer be available on that side.
Yeah.
So but you know,
Go ahead. I agree with you though. I think while not limiting, I think it's good information. Just like the poison ivy or poisonous plants, it doesn't stop you from doing it, but it does give you a little more information about what you're getting into.
That's true.
You kind of see it both ways.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you filter by it, and if you do choose to use some specialty gear, you would then be able to know rather than miss out. So yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Do you guys think the next one, which is required Wi-Fi or cellular data, alerts players that needed signal or data for completion, is needed as an actual?
You know, that could go under beacon, but like beacon could be extended to that. But I mean, I can see that, but where would you use that? So I don't know where you would use it other than like mob caches that don't really exist anymore.
Right.
I think I think in the past that might have been a thing. But I think right now, like lab caches, you automatically know that you're going to have to use cell signal. But if you have some kind of specialty thing, I don't know that merits a whole thing outside of the beacon. That's my
yeah, maybe.
So another thing we're doing tonight, if you have a suggestion, put it in the chat room. We are putting a little star by it, and we have a way to look back, and we can go through all the stars in a little while. So definitely give us your suggestions. I saw Amateur Gadget Geocaches gave a suggestion, and I put a star by it, and we'll get to that one later. So if you guys have guys and gals have some, put them in the chat room, and we will get to them. We might not mention them initially, but we will get them here in a few minutes. So let's go to the next grouping. I don't know. Some of these are sort of, we can just.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's go through them.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Best at sunrise or sunset. What do y'all think of that?
I love this one because
attribute.
as a hiker, like there are certain things like you go out and you do, and it is amazing at sunrise and sunset.
Yeah.
And I'll give one example, right? I got a couple caches hidden at a park nearby right on Lake Erie. This place is amazing to watch sunsets, you know, because the sunset's actually like right on Lake Erie. And I know Fishing Gal, shout out to her, she put a cache there, you know, where people buy a bench where people can sit and watch it. And that's a cool thing. But I think, I mean, if you're traveling into like an area and trying to figure it out and not really sure like where sunrise, sunset hits, I think this could be a really cool thing, you know, for people to experience that.
I agree in the hiking aspect. I know we've intentionally gone to places before, like when we used to live in Colorado, we go, and here it'd be the beach, but in Colorado, we go to like Garden of the Gods, which if you don't know, it's
it's amazing.
Free and open park to everybody. It's my favorite place on the planet that I've ever been. Cool. I spent a lot of time there, and we would go. We were there many times at sunset, but we'd like to get there, and we would sit before, you know, dark before sunrise, and we had our little place. Christy and I would go, and we'd sit and we'd watch the sunrise.
Yeah,
you know, through the rocks and the mountains and everything. And there was obviously caches all over the place, and we even had a cache there too as well. But we would go there, and I think if you're into hiking and nature, combining it with geocaching, I think spot on for. That's really kind of like Scenic View, but it's giving more information, right? Scenic View could be anything. It could be in the city. It could be just, you know, architecture or whatever. But I think the sunrise sunset kind of digs into that nature thing, and I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I don't think it would be the top, but I'm not against it at all.
Right. How about themed cache? Highlights caches with immersive or narrative themes.
Yes. 100% yes.
Sci-fi.
Yes. I'm thinking of it for holidays, right? I love the Christmas caches, the Halloween caches that people put out. And I had a buddy that used to put out one every year at Christmas. He put out a huge box that was painted up to look like a present. And he filled that thing on his own. He filled it with individually wrapped presents for like the first 30 or 40 people that would find the cache.
Wow.
And it was like, you know, a geocaching pin or a compass or something, all geocaching related stuff that you would actually, you know, tweezers, set of tweezers or whatever. And now the rest of the year, outside of that month and a half that he had it out as a Christmas cache, it was just a placeholder ammo can. But during that one time, and then he would republish it every year. So he'd cancel it and republish it every year.
Oh, that's cool.
And I love those. Or you go into a trail of like 6 Halloween themed caches, you know, and those are great. And we love those. So I'm sure that I'm not the only one. I love those a lot. And yes.
Yeah.
Girl on the Move said, easy favorite point, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got to agree because, I mean, those themed caches tug at so many geocachers like geocaching heartstrings.
Yes.
Where, I mean, let's face it, like if you have a great puzzle and you go there and it's just a generic location, like if it's like an LPC or like a guardrail, it's kind of like, okay, I did it. That's cool. But I mean, the minute you theme that hide aligned with that puzzle and everything else, that puts it over the top, you know? And I know for myself, like if I were filtering it out and I were going to an area being, okay, what caches am I looking at? Man, that themed one could push those ahead over others for me to do.
Very cool. Yes.
So you're not talking about the landscape pharmacy theme, right? Where you put a pill bottle under a bush. You're talking about something. Okay.
Yeah, something a little different, Jesse. Yeah.
Okay.
Hard to believe for some folks. Yeah.
That's funny though. I think that I don't put out LPCs, but I think that'd be a funny one to have the name of it be something cash pharmacy. It's the pill bottle. I love it. All right.
Instead of a travel bug hotel cash pharmacy.
That's right.
what about bonus cache nearby? Tells seekers there's a bonus cache tied to this one.
I think that should be. I don't know. Nope. I'm saying no now because that should be in a good cache description. People should know that already. Like it should be part of the. Like I went and found one this weekend, and it had a puzzle piece, in it under the code of the lid. But it said it clearly on the cache page because it was one that was written up well. It said, "Remember, in this cache, there's going to be a code. It's part of the series. If you want to find the bonus cache at the end." That's not something, in my opinion, it should be an attribute. That should be absolutely in the cache description.
Correct. And one thing I wanted to point out, we should point out at the beginning, a couple things. One is there are a lot of attributes. Look at John here. Look behind John. There are a lot already, and that's a very large but, and that is HQ. Knowing how HQ is, they're more likely to create more attributes than they will to create more cache types because data wise, programming wise, it is so much easier to create an attribute. Just saying, and we're focusing on this for a reason. That's because we really believe that some of these could actually become actual attributes, and we're kind of pushing HQ a little bit to think about some of these. So, all right.
I have to ask the question.
Yes.
If we're pushing for all these extra ones, should we also push for people to actually use them honestly?
Oh gosh, yeah, that was one.
Absolutely,
that was one of our starred ones. Somebody mentioned was like we need to get them to actually like the cache owners to actually use them.
Yeah,
very true. Absolutely.
That's a different discussion. That's the whole honesty in publishing thing, but whatever.
Yeah. we definitely do.
But I think that brings up a great point. It's kind of like a lot of people get into it, and I know I talked to a cacher recently, and they're like, I'm not sure what these attributes are and how you can use them. And then after that, they're like, oh my god, this would totally change how I cache. Like if I knew this like a while ago. So I'm big on using them and trying to put on as many attributes as I can when I hide a cache.
Exactly. All right, here's some more, and then we're gonna get to the guys. High traffic area warns seekers this is a muggle heavy zone. We already have muggles.
There's a muggle. Yeah, there's already a muggle one.
Okay, great for groups, especially good for events or teamwork based caches. Great for
there's
groups.
A teamwork cache already. There's a teamwork attribute already. I think I think that one's good. Teamwork attribute's still good.
This one's interesting. Silent stealth required. Beyond just stealth, this implies extra discretion. I guess. I mean, I don't think we really need that though.
No, I think the stealth one is good enough.
Yeah.
How about these? Let me throw. But wait, there's more.
No, there's more.
There's more.
Man.
Can I throw you a logic puzzle involved attribute?
Okay.
Oh, I do extremely love logic puzzles. Like
I do too.
That is one of my favorite kind of puzzles that I do just for fun, right? I don't see it used enough to justify its own attribute, but maybe John, you see it differently than I do.
I don't know. I mean, I could see, a few things, I guess. Like one, because I mean, for those who are puzzlers, do you really want to tip off what your puzzle is, to folks?
That's a good point. Yeah.
But along the same lines, right? Like if you're creating a beginner puzzle to try to get people into puzzles, because I probably have told you guys my thing with puzzles, right? I did not get into puzzles until I cashed out my local area when I first started, and then there were all these question mark icons on the map, and I'm like, well, I guess I better see what these things are all about, right?
Sure.
But for folks, if there was a way to kind of like help them get started into puzzling, maybe that could help. But I don't know for puzzlers if they'd really want to kind of tip their hand on what their puzzles are.
Right.
Yeah, I think that may be a little too much information.
Okay, come over to this little part of the lot, and let me show you some other possibilities.
Okay.
Don't leave. Don't leave, please.
Oh man, Gary's totally giving you used car dealer kind of vibe right now, guys.
What about cryptography needed?
I think it falls under the same thing. I really do. Like the cryptograms is like my second favorite type of puzzle. So I have books of both of these just 50 feet away from here, right? Like 20 feet away from here. I love those. But again, I think you're giving too much information. You're breaking it down too much.
Okay.
Because a lot of times it's a mystery, right?
Yes. So, gentlemen, I do have one next to that one. If you would step over here and look over here, I've got a new one for you. This one's brand new. It's got a great look. It's got good wheels, good tires, white walls. It's great. And it's called Multiple Puzzle Stages. Could be useful to differentiate from traditional multis. Could I sell you one of those today?
I'm not buying that.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that one.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Field attribute plus multi, I think that covers it.
Yeah.
All
Gary,
right.
you're kind of sounding like that time you went to Garland and you tried to sell people a car.
Yes.
Just saying
trouble.
on this one.
Okay. Well, stay with me. Let's go over to this part of the lot. I got some more.
Okay. We got more.
Neurodiversity. This is a very new. It's a Euro. So I'm still trying to learn the language for these guys. Neurodiversity friendly for caches designed with sensory sensitive or neurodiverse players in mind.
Yep.
Ooh,
I'm down with that one.
Sleek.
I like that because I think for some people that could help them get into the game. And certainly if people know of certain situations that are not neurodiverse friendly or sensitive sensory friendly, I think for folks, you got to know what that right fit for them is. And I think that could be big. So yeah, I totally go in on this one.
And I'm looking at it the same way, but the opposite, right? Like you got to remember that all these would potentially have a negative attribute as well, right? So you can have that one as a negative attribute. Like this is not, let's say, think of some famous ones we know. WV Tim's one outside of Chick-fil-A, the one that's painted up like a cow, eat more chicken, I think it's called or whatever.
Yep.
You're figuring out the box. And one of the things you do is an air horn. Well, there's certain people that are not good with really loud sounds.
Right.
So thinking through that may be one of the ones we use as a negative attribute. So this is not good for people that are sensitive to light sounds. Think of caches that are out there, gadget caches that use strobing lights. I put one out before, use strobing lights or sounds. That for people that are sensitive to those things, that would be a good one. That's a good safety issue thing, I think.
Yeah,
I would love to see that one as a real one. All joking aside, that could be legitimately helpful to people.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm gonna throw that into y'all's putting it right back here in your basket, so we're good to go. How about language barrier alert? If the puzzle or instructions rely on knowledge of a specific language, do we need an attribute for that?
I don't think so, because the language, unless you're talking about, if you're talking about an actual language, the language is supposed to be the dominant language of the area, right? When you publish it, even if it's an Earth connection, you forget that the dominant language is French.
Which you found out.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that right now. Duh. But anyway, if you're talking about slang or something like that, I think that's part of the puzzle, right? Like that's part of trying to figure out the puzzle. And nowadays, with all the tools that are out there with Google Translate and geocaching toolbox and AI and everything else, you can overcome those things. Everybody can pretty much overcome those things if it's possible to.
Yeah.
Okay. Next to that one is kid created cache, showcasing hides placed by young geocachers.
I'd be okay with this one because I think some people create something and this would allow people kind of like a context for appreciation and to show them as well too and to provide feedback. So I kind of like that one myself.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's something that I do personally. If I know it's a kid that's put one out, because a lot of times you'll see them, and I'm not going to say any GC codes or whatever, because that's not the point of it. But several caches I've found, it's by a young or brand new cacher. By young, I just mean new to the game, or young chronologically as well.
Yeah.
If it's somebody that should know better, that's one thing. But if it's somebody that's in their first couple hides and they make the rookie mistakes that we all make, I'll make sure I go out of my way to say, this was good. This is what you may need some help on. and off, extend that like, hey, the community around here is great. People will help you out. There's events, everything else. If there's something you don't know, because I don't want to assume the person doesn't know, but on the chance that they do, I don't want them scared off, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like you see, I don't put any of my stuff premium. So every once in a while, I'll get something on a challenge. It's a brand new cacher that they're nowhere near qualified for, right? But it's a challenge, so it's at the location, so they come across it. Now I don't think they can see it as much, but they changed that years ago. But I don't want them to go and find one, and I'm deleting like their third find and with no explanation. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It maybe that is either. Let's expand that. Maybe it's kid or new cacher. Like your first 6 months, have that little, attribute badge or whatever else. So somebody's like not mean to you. Right. Not that that's going to stop people, but it may encourage people to like, hey, this person needs some support. Mm-hmm. It's their first 6 months in the game. Help them out some.
Yeah, provide some positive encouragement for sure.
I'm throwing that one in your basket as well. No problem. Okay. We got we got a discount. We'll sell you quite a few. At 12, I'll throw a 13th in, make it a baker's dozen. So
there you go.
Yeah, perfect for you gentlemen today. How about kayak watercraft launch nearby? Different from just boat required.
I'm not excited about that one.
I mean, it's kind of like parking nearby, right? Where you're posting the parking coordinates. Like you could just post the coordinates for where the launch is, to be friendly to people. So I mean, I don't know if necessarily you need, launch nearby.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would think that's use the setup that geocaching has already put in. Don't recreate something just because people don't do it right the first time.
Yeah. Or could you imagine somebody like an LPC? It's an LPC, but there's like a kayak launch nearby, but it has nothing to do with the LPC. But they're like, hey, just so you know, there's a kayak launch nearby this LPC in this Walmart parking lot.
Now that's actually kind of funny.
That is funny. But
because I like to put the hint of magnetic when I hide a key hide that's not on anything metal.
Right.
It's true. And it's
magnetic.
It is magnetic, but it's not on anything. They just assume it's on something metal. But I don't. That one's not. I'm not buying that one.
Okay, that's fine. I got plenty more. Let me tell you a different one. How about night hike recommended? That's beyond available at night. It means it's better at night. Kick the tires on that one for a moment.
And you have hiking. I'm thinking you just put those two together and. I'm not. I think that's. No.
Well,
but wait, there's more.
I'll go on this one. That's kind of like if we're endorsing sunrise and sunset, you could generalize that by like recommended for this certain time of day. You know what I mean?
True. I can see that.
Or night. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold on it.
Well, and once again, use the cache description part.
Yeah.
That's what a cache description is for. Make recommendations, give people information. I understand not everybody reads the cache description. I would never do that, of course. I always read it thoroughly before I go to the cache. But for other people,
heaven forbid.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
Okay, well, I got some more. You guys stick around. We got some more. We just got pick enough of them. How about mountain viewpoint? Highlights summit style or scenic overlook caches. Ooh.
They already have that attribute. Scenic view is already an attribute.
Oh man. Okay. I'm having trouble selling that one. Okay. Well, let's try the next. Let's try the next one. I think. Well, I'll skip over pizza nearby. Let's go to
whoa! Pizza nearby, Gary. That sounds like the dream attribute that needs to happen right now. Just saying. I do all my caching by that one. If that was out there, pizza nearby.
That one's kind of expensive. I don't know if you want to really buy that one. Is that really something you want to?
Gary, I don't know if that's a change of lifestyle right now. I think it's something I'm already committed to. So I think that would just make my life easier having pizza nearby.
So John, I think you could put that attribute if you made an icon of it. You can put that attribute plus the other ones that we're creating just in your cache description. I think I might start doing that from now on. But make my own attribute section. That's kind of fun for the ones they don't have.
We could totally do that on a website and just be like, post these attributes.
That's right.
Why not?
I mean, why not? I agree. It's, You create your own Pizza Odyssey, right?
Welcome to Pizza Odyssey.
Good.
And for all of you non-insane geocachers, yes, we already do have food nearby as an attribute. You're correct.
Yeah. Okay, next one. How about well, I'm throwing that in your basket, John. I threw a few.
Absolutely, Gary. It's in.
I threw a few more in for you, buddy. How about photo op cache encourages people to take a picture at the location?
I mean, isn't that still scenic view?
Well, I'm trying to sell these things, and they're not running me. They're not doing well.
Yeah, I'm not buying on that one. You know, I understand the selfie culture that we live in, but I'm going to say that's scenic view again.
Let's skip the next couple because apparently you don't like this row. So I'm going to skip down because I got plenty more.
You don't like that row.
How about this one? This one's not selling yet, but I think if you guys would buy one and tout this particular attribute around, I think it would really do well. And that is garlic required. Vampire zone for night caches in creepy woods.
Texas caches.
For night caches in creepy woods or cemeteries. Do you like the garlic required one? I have they're on sale today.
I think that's probably the worst one we've heard. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
that's almost as bad as the pizza nearby.
Whoa, come on, guys! Pizza nearby is way above
garlic pizza nearby.
I mean, you could merge them and be like, bring a pizza. Bringing pizza is encouraged with garlic.
So I think I probably oversold, I over purchased inventory on that guy. How about may attract Sasquatch? Because who's to say it won't?
Yeah, I think.
Gary, if you're in Florida, swamp monkey.
That's right. Yeah. Skunky.
I think.
Okay, swamp donkey.
Swamp donkey.
What is it?
Whoa. There's a swamp donkey out there. Now wait a minute.
That's got to be a geocache.
Got my attention.
You know what though? I got to take this in a different direction, guys. How about if it's cryptid spotted nearby? So people,
now that's interesting. I'm okay with that because it makes it
like,
kind of
hey
fun.
Guys, there's been Sasquatch sightings or cryptid spotting nearby here. We're putting it on this attribute for this cache on that one.
A little bit of Nessie in the background. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Nessie, the Mothman,
maybe
that swamp donkey. I mean,
swamp donkey is really a cool one.
Maybe that attribute means that you have to Photoshop a cryptid into your image.
Yeah,
I love it.
Log the cache. Could that be a thing? I don't know. I like it.
I do, and I definitely want to go check after the show. I'm going to do a little googling about the swamp donkey. So that's fascinating. How about this one? This one we've been joking with. This one's actually pretty good. BYOD. Bring your own disguise for urban hides with extreme stealth needs.
That is funny. Like the clipboard or the vest or whatever, the hard hat.
Yes.
Could you imagine like turning that into a multi-cache where stage one is you go to a spot where you have to get the costume and put it on, and then you have to go to like stage 2 in the costume?
That would be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
And then AI would recognize you in that costume and then like open up the container or something else.
Give you a clue to next stage.
That's like super smart cache.
That's a really good one. You probably could do something like that. Okay, good. I'm glad I told that. I'm throwing that one in the bucket. How about aliens welcome? Cache contains messages from beyond, or just weird logs. You can have a weird. It's sort of like the liar's cache. You could force.
Yeah. Now that actually they don't really encourage those anymore, but they still allow them. I've seen newer ones of those, which I thought those were outlawed.
Go ahead.
I think if you're going to allow liar's caches, that needs to be an attribute.
I love that.
Because people don't quite understand sometimes what a liar's cache is.
Yep.
And that attribute might help. Like if they, grazed over, if they checked it, it would show that not everything on this cache page is legit and stuff like that. And I think that's actually a good one if they're going to continue to allow liar's caches, which I know that's controversial.
Yeah.
How about this next one? We went to a different row, but I think this row is pretty good. So I'm going to get you guys to think about these. This one is sticky situation ahead for sap covered trees, swampy terrain, obviously where the swamp donkey lives, or duct taped hides. Ugh. What do you think of a sticky situation ahead attribute? I got a lot of them to sell. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one. Now, that's two different things, though, right? Like the duct tape and the swampy thing. Like,
yeah,
I'm okay. The duct tape thing is stupid, but I'm okay with a little more detail on the environment, right? Like,
Yeah.
Struck 2 is not enjoying our.
Yeah, no. But here, taking it back to reality, I'm okay with giving a little more information, like dangerous terrain and stuff like that. We could be a little more specific because, like down here in Florida, people cache in the swamp. That's different than just there's dangerous animals, there's everything there, and I think we could lean in more specifically to what type of dangerous terrain it is. I don't think that's a bad idea. Like swamp can be its own thing because a legit swamp is.
You're right.
You have to know what you're getting into. So
I agree. As someone who hypothetically may have gotten injured in a swamp once while hiking.
Yes, that's true.
I could see that as a good one because, I mean, let's face it, sometimes too, it's like you're on the border of something that could be a swamp and your GPS, it's giving you coords in the swamp and you're kind of thinking like, okay, is this really in the swamp or is this like one of those, like I'm going to go 5 to 10 feet in and somebody on the shore is going to be like, oh, I found it, So
yeah, let me point out real quick that people will love this because I know somebody that goes with a group and they do their swamp rats. She's in the chat room now, but Nicole,
that's down here.
Be Genius. She said she's going to go hide a swamp donkey cache now, which she can because she has all the equipment and she goes with the swamp rats and they get out of the swamp. So I guarantee you Nicole's going to go hide that.
So just so we remember, whether it's Nicole, which it probably won't be because she'll be shy, or somebody else that's into these things, we need to bring them on the show to talk about these swamp rat events. If you don't realize what it is, it's an insane event where they're going out in chest deep water where there's alligators and snakes and everything else caching for hours on end. Wow. That is insane. It is absolutely insane. So we need to put a pin in that one since we brought it up. We need to have somebody, one of those insane people, come on the show because people don't realize what's going on. Those are insane events.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, Nicole, when you hide that, make it Swamp Donkey Cache #1. Make a series out of it. Make it be one of those that goes all around, All
right. Let's do so here's what I'm thinking, guys. We're going to need to do a second show on this. I really do.
Are we running out of time?
We're starting to run out of time, but it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna do quite a few, and we're gonna do a second show down the road, kind of like we did with the trackables.
But let's at least get to the starred comments because there were some good ones.
Yes, we'll get to that. So we're gonna finish this section, and then we're gonna go to starred comments. So then the next one in this. Down this row, I want to sell you guys a possibility of getting this because your basket isn't completely full, and we need to get you to 12 so I can get you the final.
Here we go. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh man, appreciate that, Gary.
You bet. So here's the next attribute: smells weird nearby because some places just do.
Now I know that one's a joke. However, I've been to ones near like dumps and plants and stuff like that they smelled nasty. Yeah. And now smelling weird nearby is kind of a joke, but environmental hazards could include bad smells, pollution in the area and stuff like that. I don't think that's a bad one. I think that falls under hazards. And I think there's enough situations where that could actually be a real, not just one of those smell caches, those gadget caches where you get the smell. Not that one. But like actual environmental hazards nearby, that's not a bad thing because people do have respiratory issues and everything else, right? And in some of the urban caches, you're right up next to industrial stuff and not smells bad. So don't take that out, right? That nomenclature is silly, but environmental hazards is not a bad idea.
You're correct.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just like, especially like if you're taking a new cacher out, like, and take them to one of those places that aren't ideal, like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, geocaching sucks. It smells horrible and everything else. Why would you bring me here?
Well, how much do you hate me to make me come do this?
Because do this, right? All right, I'm throwing that one in the basket. I got two more.
Okay.
And we'll get to questions. So the next one is mud happens, particularly seasonal, especially for Florida or swampy areas. Do you want a separate attribute for mud happens?
John, you want that one or?
I don't know. I mean, to me, that kind of ties into the swampy terrain.
Yeah,
The mud on there. And it's tricky, right? Because it's kind of like for trail guy outdoors, mud happens. I mean, yeah, especially during like mud season, but it's like, do you actually put like a mud happens in a location when it's like mud season and there's mud, for like a few months? It's like, I'm really not sure on this one.
No, I think it could be brought into the swampy environmental hazard attribute that we kind of talked about.
Yeah.
All right, one last one, and if that doesn't work, I'll take and throw one in just to get you guys to 13. But the next one is you'll question life's choices for absurd terrain puzzle combos, like insane terrain / puzzle combos. You do a special attribute to let people know that this is outrageous terrain, an outrageous puzzle, and you're going to question your life's choices. I like it.
Yeah, I have a lot to say on this one, but you go first, John.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, is it your choice or is it the cache owner's choice on this one? Because like, I'll quickly summarize a questionable life choice I made the other week. I need a hidden buy date, right, guys? Right. So I'm traveling. It's a storm. I just happened to go to this abandoned metal bridge to this like island that's like closed, super sketchy bridge. You can't like go on it. You have to actually like climb underneath. There's thunder, there's lightning, there's like rain. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, do I go on the super sketchy bridge that's closed down that I probably shouldn't be on and the thunder and lightning storm to try to find this cache to get this like hidden date because I'm already here? And the answer was yes. And then luckily that storm cleared up. But that was a questionable life choice on my part. That wasn't really a questionable life choice on that CO's part on this one. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one for sure.
Eric,
but
he says, yes, we could name it near death.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like, do you want to gamble with your life? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe you do.
So
cool.
I'm going to add on to what he said and
go for it.
A little different take on it. So we've kind of talked about this before. Mostly we talk about it off air and stuff, but DT is 1-1 to 5-5, right? So correct. We can probably all agree that there's an especially difficult puzzle, and it also requires a boat. That's a 5-5.
Correct.
You can easily see that amidst. So a 5-stage, really difficult puzzle that you have to boat to is a 5-5.
Correct.
I'll agree. What about a 10-stage that you have to boat and take a ladder to climb when you get there on the island?
Oh my goodness!
Is it the same thing, or is it harder? It's harder. So I think once you cap out 5-5, I think there should be an attribute that goes beyond that. Like,
wow,
this is beyond a 5-5 because the 5-5 is like every other one has its exact requirements, right? 5-5 is like this minimum insane plus more or everything more. Now you have to fly into the middle of Alaska to get to it and do this thing.
Correct.
It's still the same rating as if you just had to do the 5-stage puzzle, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think there's a potential for one that's like, yes, this is a 5-5, but it's way more than the minimum threshold. So whether you call it near death or extreme geocache, like Scouter just said, or
Scouter, yeah.
I think there's 5-5 is a huge range.
It is a range.
Caches, right? Even legitimate. I'm going to talk about the liars caches or the way they used to do the puzzles and stuff like that. I mean, legitimate. You take a 5-5 cache that everybody agrees, yet 5 plus. I like that one. That should be it right there. That's the icon. I think there's a huge range of things past 5-5. And I think
Sure.
that's where that one could actually fall into, right? Like,
Good.
it's a plus. I think that's,
Yeah.
I really do think that's a legitimate one, all joking aside.
Awesome.
Do you think it's like waiver required? Like you have to sign a
Yeah,
waiver
like, do
to
not
actually
do
like
Yeah.
to view the cache description. Like
I
it's
love
like
that.
before you
Yeah.
read anything further, you have to sign in and send in a waiver, and then we
That's
Yeah.
will,
right.
you know.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So excellent, gentlemen. I am going to throw in a set of steak knives for each of you guys. So
Ooh,
appreciate you and hope you come back for that. So
thank you, Gary.
oh yeah, absolutely. So all right, through the starts.
Yeah,
First start was Rick Dorsey. Rick Dorsey was with us not too long ago on the show, and good to see him with us tonight. Jesse's first find in that county. That was your.
I don't know about that. What county is that?
What John knows what county it is. Probably maybe.
What county?
The
where
your
you're
milestone.
the one with Jesse's flat Jesse.
Oh, Jesse's. Did I don't know. I
The
took Flat
your
Jesse.
milestone you had where Flat Jesse was. They're saying the first find in that county, but what county was that one in?
You know, so that was in Warren County, in Warren, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and I found
Oh,
other
it was
ones
in
in that county
Pennsylvania, not New
before.
York.
Right.
Okay. Next one. Butterfly Girl says she needs 2 for her double. Good for her. Doing great. Way to go, Valena. So Seabiscuit is with us. Seabeck Tribe.
Oh man, hey
Joe.
Lori.
Hello from over in the Pacific Ocean. I think she's at
She's
Cache
flying
Fest
home
Hawaii.
from Hawaii. Yeah.
Yep, Cache Fest Hawaii. I heard it was went rip roaringly well. So good for everybody that got to go over there. Congrats on a successful Cache Fest.
Absolutely.
Another one in the books. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Jim says he loves reading the large log books over the mini logs. I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know about you guys, but like on the large log books, I'll write my name, the date, time, and I'll write a message.
Right.
Everything else, I scribble my name on the first white piece that shows up. I don't even go to the end of the log. I don't date it. I put MM on there, and that's all I do.
Correct.
Unless it's that kind of logbook, I'm not taking my time with it. I'm just
That's
it. Move on.
Hughes, Texas Dave says your Team Conway needs to have a badge for 500th.
There should be something to recognize those kind of milestones, right?
Like a treasure, right?
Yeah, like your 1,000th hide, or somebody that contributes to the game. There should be something that recognizes people that do that much to the game. Not your 100,000th hide, but your 1,000th find. I mean, hide. You know what I meant. I said that backwards, but yeah. You already get recognized for finding caches. Recognize people for hiding and contributing to the game. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Think on that. And yes, Lori says that she's listening on the flight home from Hawaii. So
cool.
Safe
travels, Lori.
Richie mentioned about Gadget. I'm not sure we
Gadget attribute 100%.
Yeah. Right.
We didn't bring that up because we just assumed everybody wanted that one, but 100% of people want a gadget attribute. I have not heard anybody that goes, no, we don't need that.
Yeah, thanks, Richie. And then Tom also mentioned about challenge and puzzle. They're not field puzzles. So
challenge obviously there's an attribute for. Puzzle, not yet. There's so many variations of puzzle.
Right.
Yeah.
There needs to be some differentiate there. So
yeah.
And all things Earthcast says there should be one for travel bug hotels. Yeah.
Yes.
We kind of skipped that, but 100% agree.
We agree.
Same.
Exactly. Jim mentioned one was kind of funny. Suntan lotion required. That's for the clothing optional caches. There aren't that many. I only know of one.
No, there's more than one. There's a few.
Is there? Okay. There's one in Florida. I know there's one.
There's a place down near my house that I'm trying to get one of those hidden.
Nice.
So I got to work on some permission things.
I'm sure you do.
I really want to hide one there. I found a clothing optional cache before, but it was creepy. But anyway, it had a weird icky vibe to it. But I want to hide another. I want to hide one of those. I think that would be hilarious to have one of those.
It would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Amateur gadget geocache says, I like a flag for battery and or type of battery required. That's not a bad idea.
I like it. It because I don't know if you've ever traveled someplace and then it's like you take a look and you're just like, make sure you have this battery, and you're like,
Jesse's done that.
I have done that. And I even knew it. I even took the chance too, though. I knew it because sometimes people buy batteries and leave it there.
Yeah, I'll leave a
Yep.
9
I
volt.
went, there wasn't there. I couldn't get it. I was so
Oh.
mad. It's my
That's a
fault, but
stinker.
still, you're like, "Ugh." And of
But it's a
course,
heartbreaker. It's a
there's
heartbreaker,
no
man.
battery stores around. That's
Yeah.
everybody a battery store when they do that.
Yep. Valena was the one we mentioned, had the comment earlier we talked about, which was, I wish COs would add attributes to their hides.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
honest
true.
attributes.
Yep. Amateur said some kind of attribute to let you know that the cache container is big, but the log container is small.
Yeah, I think he said like a birdhouse, but
Yeah,
the container's tiny, but the birdhouse is big.
Birdhouse
Oh,
is big.
okay.
We've had that discussion. What size should you actually label that thing? That
Yeah.
would be a way to get around that discussion.
Since we can't get new cache sizes added to that, what about a nano? Is that in the notes somewhere for next week? I don't know, or not next week. Next time we do the show, but I mean, a lot of times you're like, I don't know, is this actually a micro or is it a true nano? We just don't have.
Yeah.
No. If people would just read the descriptions of what the difference is on those, we wouldn't have that problem. But that's for another show. I don't want to get into that now, but
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole to
people
go down.
label this wrong constantly, and it's like there is a description on geocaching.com. Just go read it, please go read it. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's a whole other show, and that is one of my pet peeves, and it bothers the crap out of me.
Oh yeah, it can get you big time for sure.
RTFM.
Yes.
Okay. Nicole says, no, we need more attributes. A nice square number, 100. I don't know where we're at now. Do you guys
You know what we need to get rid of? Lost and found. Just get rid of it. If you're not going to have it, just get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
It's not enough out there.
And that's the thing, right? You can search by it, but no caches come up with the attribute. You can see behind me, big fat goose egg, 0.
Yes, mine's
And
the
that
same
bothers
way.
me, guys. That bothers me.
And here's the thing: if you're going to have it and you're not going to delete it, make it available. Find
Yes.
something to do with it. I thought Lost and Found was going to be. I thought they were going to recycle that and use it for something, but they have not. And I don't know. Do something with it because we're stat driven people, and mine looks just like yours. It's got that hole right in the middle of it, and it makes me so angry. And there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, same. Drives me nuts.
I think I've got that one. Let me take a quick look. I think I have.
Oh, you
Lost
do
and Found.
not.
Oh man,
I bet you I do. I bet you.
Is this gonna be like when Gary was like, "I'm not into treasures." Hey guys, I got them
I
all.
like treasures. If you have it, how did you get it?
Okay, hang on. Let me see.
I've got
Gary,
0.
If you have this, you got to share your screen. People got to see this filled in.
And I can tell you which one I got it on too, right? I'm looking right now. I'm pulling it up. I'm looking right now at. Dang it. Okay. All right. Forget that. All right. Let's move on.
He couldn't have it.
Oh
Damn
man,
it.
nice try, Gary. Nice try.
Oh, well. Okay. So, how about a scout attribute for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts?
Hey, that's kind of
Not bad.
cool.
Not
Yeah.
bad. I like it.
I haven't seen as many of those lately, but I'd love to see more, more like Eagle Projects and stuff like that, or Cub Scouts, the younger ones that are doing it. I'd love to see more of those. I'd like to see that push again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, at least where I've been. I haven't seen it
Sure.
lately. I used to see a bunch of those. Now I don't. I would love that to be a thing that starts getting pushed again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jim mentions there's a high school teacher that teaches an outdoor adventure class, and one of the assignments for the students is to hide a geocache. How about some sort of classroom assignment attribute?
Ooh.
And you had a
Kinda goes
friend.
along with like the kids' cache or whatever. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah.
You
I
had a
like
friend
it.
in Colorado, right? That was taught.
Yeah, we had him on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Dr. Pauly. He did that with his kids, and those were popular caches around town, and everybody knew because he did a good job of labeling them, but everybody knew those were caches hidden by the class, kind of, like
That's cool.
And that was I think that's a great way to get younger cachers in it, and I think we really need to push that a lot more.
Yeah.
High Speed Mom mentions about beer nearby. That's a possibility.
Vote it in. Put it in the basket.
Put it in there.
Put that in the basket right now.
Love it. Love it. Bushwhacking required. That's actually not a bad one, but what do y'all think about that one? Because I think that's a pretty good one.
I think HQ would never do that because they're going to say it's like putting a nail in a tree that'll kill the tree. You know, they don't want to hurt the environment or encourage you to like do that. I don't think they would use, even though it'd be handy for us. I don't think that would ever happen.
I got a different take on this one. I mean, not to go too far in the rabbit hole, one of mine, but if there's a preferred season, right? So it's kind of like if it's like bushwhacking, but like up here in the north, if it's like one where you could accomplish like either in the winter or in the spring before everything grows up.
Yeah.
Then that could get people a way to lessen that impact on the environment, potentially on that side. So just another way to kind of look at it, I guess.
Yeah. Because, you know, bushwhacking is not like stay on the trail. If there's a trail to it, like maybe the no bushwhacking would be more appropriate here, right? Like do not cut through. I know that's a straight line.
That's a pretty good one.
There's a trail to it.
I like that.
So, yeah. Maybe we use the negative portion of that attribute.
Exactly. Yes. You need to add it because you could do it because there are times when we've all gone to a cache and we go, oh, looks like we're going in.
Never done that.
Never done that. I'm sure you have. Jesse, I can guarantee you right now that you have gone to a cache and went straight into the woods and your wife said, no, it's out here. We don't have to go over there. And you're like hip deep in thorns and
I've done it on the side of a mountain and got to the top and I was sweating, scratched up, everything else. But it was an old cache, so I thought, of course, maybe this is legit. I'm scrambling over rocks. I get to the top, and there's like a little 4-year-old that walks by. There was a trail like 200 yards away that would take you to the cache. If you
probably sipping the juice box on the way. Yeah.
Now I didn't go down the trail. I still went down the same way again because it was fun. But I mean, down's easier, right? You just slide. So
exactly.
But yes,
or you roll. Yeah.
Or you roll.
Yeah, that happens too.
Exactly. All right, just a couple more. We're gonna wrap up for tonight. Tado says, I said this to a lackey of HQ Geocaching when she asked me what I expected from the future of geocaching. I replied, more cache types and more attributes.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
That person gets the award for the night.
Exactly.
100%.
Every time you see a lackey, this is our new message out there.
Yes,
every time you see a lackey, tell them you want more cache types and more attributes. That's the first thing that everybody should say.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a lackey. Guess what? Here's what we want.
Get you a shirt, wear it to HQ, go visit, and go point to your shirt.
That's right.
Our friend Rick Dorsey says every cache in Milwaukee and Augusta will get the smells, and
we're not touching that one. We're not touching
by attribute. So, and then the last one was Gary. Is the reviewer going to approve a cache with hazardous materials nearby?
Probably not hazardous materials. Maybe hazardous terrain. Yeah, but hopefully not with hazardous materials nearby. That'd be scary.
Hazardous materials. Yeah. All right. Good deal.
Yeah. For the next show, what we need to delve into, or one of the next shows, is should the reviewer check these attributes? Like, should they make them confirm these attributes are true?
Yeah.
If it's not a puzzle, I know people use them for puzzles, right? But if it's not a puzzle, should the attributes have to be correct? We don't even have to answer that now.
That's a good one.
Answer that in the future. That's a whole show, I know, but
we'll throw that in.
And another one, and I'm not going to answer that one, but should you remove attributes on your cache? Because as we know, attributes can be used for challenges. So should people remove attributes from their cache?
What do you mean remove them if they're not appropriate, or after you published?
Or after you publish, should a cache owner nuke all of your attributes?
Don't even get me started on that. What stuff should be? Okay, wait. That's a whole different show, but
it's for another show. But it's something to think of.
Publish. You should have to get reviewer permission to change things that affect other challenges. But that's all I'm going to say on that right now.
Yep.
I can't. I can't. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, didn't mean to get that started. Just something I wanted people to think about.
Cool. Okay. Couple. If they may have any final thoughts, I think we're going to do a second show on this. So if you want to leave final thoughts for later, but at least for tonight.
I think we're joking around on some of them tonight, and we're going to talk about more of them next time. But I think for the health of the game, things have to grow and evolve, whether you're talking about VR, extended reality, drones, toxic environments, neurodiversity, that are not safe for people, or things like that. I think attributes need to grow. Now, I know HQ is not quick to switch things, but I think if there's legitimate things like this, people should email into HQ. I think they would, if 5,000 people emailed in this next month, I'm not trying to push this, but if a bunch of people emailed in and said, you know what, we need to know if this thing is going to be sound friendly or whatever else, if there's, danger nearby, or if there's one of these things you're talking about, the legitimate ones, I think they would listen to that. So I think this discussion is more than just for the show. It's when you see something like that, I think you should email HQ. They listen to people. They do listen, and they do add things that are appropriate. Now, obviously, we can't just email them and say, I want a new cache type. They're not going to do it because that's a huge change in the game, right? But when they see something safe, they do add stuff like that. So it's not just a discussion for fun. I think it's let them know what things are important to you.
Yeah.
I just got to summarize because I agree with Jesse, and I think, I was looking at doing some traveling. Yeah, and flat Jesse had required absolutely Scouter 74.
Okay.
I think that's a very important attribute to have, but I think for people who are traveling and planning cache travel too, even if you aren't doing that, attributes are very good for letting a cacher know what they could experience and how to prepare for something.
Absolutely.
Because there's nothing worse than going to a cache and then trying to do it and realize you don't have something to complete that cache, or you're not prepared to do that. Because for somebody to travel, especially like a ways in, and let's suppose it's like a longer hike, and people don't realize that, and they're thinking, boom, add that to my list. That's cool. That matches up with a date, some sort of like attributes I need for a challenge. But then you go there and you can't do it. That is such a bummer. That is such a disappointment. So I think any way that we can prepare people for a better experience, to let them know what's there, I think that even better experience it will be for folks. And on here too for Reese 486, big shout out to Judy Vaughn. She says Judy Vaughn, and I'm not surprised on this one because Judy rocks, has 2 lost and found attributes. So go Judy on that one. That is awesome.
Wow, good for
I
her.
want one of those.
Yeah,
that is cool. Yes, very good, excellent, gentlemen. Good show. We will do this again because we got more attributes. But yes, we need to push for attributes. More attributes, but also we need to push cache owners to add correct attributes. So, all right, good stuff. Upcoming shows, I did mention we're going to do the Earth Cache show next Sunday, but you have another show, John, to promote.
Yeah, so we got Gadget Talk coming up on July 22nd on this one. So we're going to get out details onto that soon. But it's going to be a great show. So mark it down on your calendar, July 22nd, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on that.
Perfect.
One. Yeah.
So late. Right. So late.
I know. It's so late for you Eastern people. All right. Good job. All right, gentlemen. Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.